One person whose impact on popular culture is undeniable is Queen of Pop, Madonna. Like Madonna? Yes, fans of Madonna, good. Well, no surprise that the spotlight was firmly on her at the Grammys, but there has been some quite strong criticism about her latest appearance, her new look. I have to say, I was looking through some of the comments, I was thinking, well, maybe we'll read some out, but actually, they are really all very cruel. There are some positive ones as well, but I thought we don't need to repeat them, OK? You can make your mind up about what you think of her look. But it does beg the question, are people more harsh about women as they age, as if they change their look, just their appearance in general? Always everyone has a lot to say about it.
Well, I think that in Madonna's case, I think that as an iconic woman of our time, she's earned the right to do what she wants to do, regardless of public opinion. But I was reading some of the comments last night, but what I did think was that if Madonna if she has had work done, if she had turned up there with her hair naturally grey, maybe with some roots coming through, not a great deal of makeup, just embracing being 64, which is the same age as me, then people would have said to her, by God, she's got the money, she should have some work done, she should have this done. So you just can't win. And I do think that, as, you know, globally, we are responsible for putting more pressure on women. I mean, we are incredibly lucky that we work on a show that celebrates and appreciates older women. The fact that, you know, with the joining of Prue today, we have, you know, 366 years between us. There aren't many shows in the world that would celebrate that. And there should be more. So I do think there is far too much
Madonna
pressure.
has always done her own thing, Janet. She's kind of thumbed her nose at authority and convention.
Yeah, I admire her tremendously because she's managed to take being a singer and being someone who shifts millions of records, millions of product, sells thousands and thousands of concert tickets. She's managed to move it into an art form, and she sees her body and her face as her canvas. She doesn't see herself any different from any other visual artist. Now, this particular look, I think, was inspired by that headmistress from Matilda, because the musical was, and the film was just...
Miss Trunchbull.
Miss Trunchbull. She's gone for Miss Trunchbull. And, you know, that's her look. I mean, it's not a look I'd rush to do, but, you know, fair play. Fair play to her. But the other thing about Madonna is... I once had a dinner at my friend's house with Madonna, and close... Big name drop there. She's so smart, she's so savvy, she's so informed. And I think the criticism of her is a bit unfair because all over the world, women are spending thousands and thousands of pounds on the other end of their body, changing their backsides. Now, to me, that seems to pass without comment, but it's a far more dangerous operation than any manipulation you might do up the top end.
But, like, Janet, she always keeps herself relevant, she always keeps herself in the news, and here we are, Gloria, all talking about Madonna.
Yes, exactly. But she reinvents herself all the time. The only thing I feel, and I'm generalising now, not just Madonna, I think there's a kind of a desperation about people when they go that bit too far. Even if they are in show business, and you can say, well, you're in show business, so you can reinvent yourself whatever way you want to be, whatever you want to look. And to be honest with you, I'm desperate for a facelift. I am. And Denise is even more desperate than I am.
No, we are. Gloria and I, do you want one?
Well, then you should admire someone who
the three of us would all like a sort of job lot done.
I don't want anything
not
done.
you. I never said you. I said us three. We'd all like a job lot. And if we all go together, we can just say it was the lighting. Can't we? Because we'll all be like that.
I don't think people are desperate who change their faces. I'm sorry. I don't think she's desperate in any way whatsoever. I think she's made a decision. That's the way she wanted to look this week. I think next week she'll look different again. And we can't really, you know...
Well, I would like this bit all done.
I would like that bit there.
I would like that bit done.
I think this
we haven't got time. We haven't got time.
Move on.
We haven't got time to listen to all the bits we all want done. We'll be here all day.
We come in next week
we're staying with
Madonna.
celebrities. There's another pair in the spotlight. Also at Sunday night's Grammy Awards, J-Lo and her husband Ben Affleck. They were caught having what seemed to be a bit of a heated moment. Right. Well, should you ever argue in public? Thank you, Janet. I was looking for that. I was like, where's that card gone?
Do you want me to read it?
You read it, yeah. So this is what we think they were saying.
An unnamed lip reader claims J-Lo said, "Stop. Look more friendly. look motivated. Yeah. And Affleck apparently replied, I might. We've all been there, haven't we?
Well, you know, when you're trying to do that silent arguing, like, look, sit on, sit on.
Well, I have to do that with Lincoln when we go to any kind of, you know, ceremony where there's cameras and everything. And I just go, darling, the camera's coming, you've got your resting psycho face on. Because Lincoln has a resting psycho face. It doesn't mean he's not enjoying it, he just hasn't told his face that he is.
Oh, I'll tell you what, he, in all those pictures there, Ben Affleck, he just looked bored the whole way through.
Doesn't want to be there.
I find it embarrassing
Maybe he
if
was
people...
bored.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he was bored.
I find it very embarrassing if people bicker and argue in public. And I think it's back in the day with my parents. I never saw my parents argue. I'm sure they did, but I never saw it. As children, we never saw it. And I think I carried that on, actually, when I had children of my own. I never wanted my children to see us arguing. So I would sometimes even just not speak. There was one occasion when I didn't speak to my former husband for 2 weeks. I sort of just negotiated here and there. So that sometimes is the way I dealt with it.
Rather than row in front of the children.
I wouldn't row in front of the children. And I know a couple, and well grown up, more or less our age, and they bicker all the time. And sometimes over lunch or dinner, you know, you end up thinking, oh, please don't slag each other off.
Oh, no,
it's
horrible.
awkward, isn't it?
I really don't
do you
like
not
that.
think, Janet, people use that sometimes in a public place or at a dinner party or out for
they want
lunch
to
with
throw
friends,
you in.
is that they say things that they think normally this would end in a row, because there are people here.
In a passive-aggressive way.
Yeah, they go like, it's like him, he never washes up, do you?
It makes me feel so uncomfortable because my parents rowed all the time and they would go... We lived in this tiny house in Fulham, in a terrace house, and we had a scullery, and they had this illusion that you went from a small kitchen into a kind of scullery that had a cooker in it and a kind of worktop and a sink, and they shut the door and think you couldn't hear through the door, but they might as well have been having the row in the room.
Did it upset you?
What effect? I was just going to say what effect that had
Oh,
on you.
definitely affected me, definitely. I hate rowing. As long as I have the last word.
I think it can. I think it can really damage children.
Well,
the fact that you remember it.
I remember it really
years later.
clearly. I remember my dad going out on Christmas Eve saying you get a cheap turkey, leaving it too late and coming back with a goose with all the feathers on. And my mother and he had a fist. I mean, they were fighting over it, and we were sent to bed. And then on Christmas Day, obviously somebody plucked this bird. And we ate it, but my mother didn't get up till really late, and the whole thing was really, really frosty.
But she remembers, so, you know, Janet remembers that, Janice, vividly.
I did.
Do you remember?
No, my mum and dad, I mean,
arguments?
you know, they were together till the end, and they had a great love for each other, and everybody knows how much I love my parents, but they did row, and they didn't care who was there. And I can remember as a kid having friends to sleep over, which we did often, and putting a note under the door saying, please don't argue.
No.
Yeah, I did, because I was embarrassed. It probably wasn't even about anything really serious, but my dad was a yeller. Yeah. He would yell and then it was over, but then he couldn't understand why people were really upset with him. But I do remember one row they had, and I can't remember the content, but I remember it was, in my little 9-year-old mind, serious enough that it really worried me. And I remember Dad taking us out of the house and taking us to the Spanish City that was the big amusement arcade in Whitney
I thought you were in Benidorm for a minute.
No, we didn't take it to Benidorm. No, the Spanish City, very famous northeastern place. And saying to Dad, are you going to get divorced?
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And he sort of said, no, don't be silly. And I can remember he bought me this sort of record. But the actual day and what I was wearing and the significance of that day. So you can imagine children who grow up with the real terrible rows. Yeah. That's going to give you massive post-traumatic stress.
Let us know what you think. You know, have you got memories like that, you know, rows that you really remember your parents having all those years ago that affected you? Do you argue in front of your children? We'd love to know what you think about that.